I get somehow worried that every time there is a position available in the municipality, people talk about giving it to the ANC and the DA, including some leaders of the EFF. When you talk to them, they say, no, there is that type of MMC in DA, maybe, maybe not. But they never talk about the EFF. I don't understand. I don't understand why people are not talking about the EFF. After the EFF said, we are ready to govern. Leaders of the EFF tell you about other MMCs from other political parties. The media ask you about the ANC and the DA. They don't ask you about the EFF. So I think that we ought to look at this thing broadly. You know, opportunism is going to kill this movement. If we can't start identifying talent amongst our own comrades, we've got now well-experienced leaders of the EFF in municipalities. And we're never told about those leaders. We're told about something else. So I don't want us to reduce the debate into DA or ANC. And I'm not going to be here this afternoon when the War Council will be sitting. And I was not there when the Central Command team said last time, because I wanted to propose that the EFF must contest. And it must contest without talking to anyone.
All right, well, in studio with me, I have my colleague Natasha Piri, who was in attendance at the EFF's inspection of the Nasrec Conference Centre. Thanks very much, Natasha, for joining us.
Thanks,
well, let's start with the EFF saying that they're quite interested in going for the Johannesburg mayorship.
Definitely, Nompu. So they've raised their hand. They say that they've got well-capable candidates within the EFF to actually take over from Herman Mashaba. And EFF leader Julius Malema proposing that one of their own be nominated for that position, but without even consulting with the ANC, with the DA. He says that it's somewhat undermining the EFF as a party, that every time there's a vacancy, you know, in a mayoral position, that the DA always considers their own candidates in the ANC, but, you know, somewhat overlooking the EFF. So it says that this is something that needs to change, and they will be consulting as a party, and of course will be briefing the media in due time as to what is the way forward in regards to that.
So they had their inspection of the Nasrec Conference Centre. That's for their second elective conference. What were they saying there?
Well, it's all systems go, according to the EFF. So about 4,500 delegates will then ascend to Nasrec from the 13th to the 17th of December. And of course, they say that everything is on track. They're all ready. They're done with, you know, the processes. They've followed all due processes. But it's also quite interesting that the election agency now will be then conducted by, you know, Terry Tilane's election agency. And it's called the Institute of Election Management Services in Africa. Of course, they've hailed it as a black-owned election agency. It would be quite interesting to actually see the processes and what actually unfolds there. But also talking about the leadership discussions, you know, they'd said and they'd rubbished, you know, reports, media reports saying that the party's chairperson, Dalim Pofu, and the SG, Godrich Gadi, would be actually kicked out in the cold. They had said that all members will be nominated from the floor. So all members are actually available, you know, to contest, but they won't be having these leadership discussions with members of the media and out there in the media, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Based on your knowledge and understanding, do you think Julius Malema is going to win again?
Sure. I really don't want to put anything to that, because we were lambasted today. The media was lambasted, and they've they reiterated, I beg your pardon, quite a number of times that all nominations will come from the floor. Julius Malema had said himself that nobody actually has a position, you know, within the EFF. Nobody can claim a position and say, because I'm party president, it'll be mine. All they just had to say was that they'll just wait for the conference, and it will be decided then when those 4,500 delegates will actually nominate their leadership of choice.
Okay, and just remind the viewers of the date of that conference.
So, of course, the conference will start on the 13th to the 17th, but also quite interesting things to actually note about this conference. You know, corporate will be invited, telecommunications companies and business will be invited. All the open sessions that the media is invited to actually attend, those managers, those big managers will actually also, attend those sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, your nominations, your organizational review reports will be open to the media. Certain things will be closed, like your commissions. But of course, on a day-to-day basis, the EFF leadership will be briefing the media throughout.
Super. Thank you very much, Natasha,
Thank you,
for your
Nonko.
time. My colleague there, Natasha Piri, just giving us feedback on that visit to the EFF Nasrec Conference Centre inspection.